Who is it?
I saw your light. Aren't you going to invite me in?
Well, as much as I'd enjoyed the pleasure of your company, Mrs. Van Lyden,
This is a business visit.
Sit down.
Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
Well, you know Dr. Rossi.
Of course.
I want to sue him for slander.
On what grounds?
Well, he came to the house today, and he said some very unpleasant things about me.
Such as?
Slanderous things.
Would you try and be more specific? You see, slander is very difficult to prove, Mrs. Van Lyden, without a witness.
There was a witness.
My grandfather?
Yes.
Even if my grandfather were willing to back up your charges that Dr. Rossi said thus and so, that's only half the battle.
And what's the other half?
Prove that whatever Dr. Rossi said about you was false?
You can slander someone with the truth. The fact of truth is no defense.
I've often wondered why people who know the law bother with attorneys.
Don't be angry.
If it's possible to prove whatever Dr. Rossi said about you is false, if it's possible, that's the way to go.
Dr. Rossi is suffering from an advanced case of hero worship.
You mean towards your late husband? I believe they were in the same field before Dr. Rossi switched to general practice. Had he known Dr. Van Lyden personally?
He was one of my husband's students.
Oh, then the two of you have met before.
No, that was before I married Philip.
Rossi never came to your home?
No.
I find it hard to understand why he'd want to slander a lady he'd never met.
I told you it was hero worship. They made a cult of my husband.
They?
His colleagues.
Did they, oh, perhaps I should say Dr. Rossi, disapprove of your marriage to Dr. Van Lyden? Now, that's a fairly obvious conclusion from what you've told me.
You're asking some very personal questions, considering you haven't even said yet whether you'll accept my case.
I don't know if you've got one. Let me give you some good advice, Mrs. Van Lyden.
As an attorney?
I'll call it as a friend. If I were you, I'd drop the whole idea. Dr. Rossi's a respected and popular figure. You're a stranger. From the viewpoint of any prospective jury, a spoiled society matron, an uppity outsider with a chip on her shoulder. You couldn't hope to win.
I see.
And that, Adrian, is a simple statement of fact.
Thank you so much, Counselor.
Two. Three. Four. Five.
Mr. Payne, if it hurts so bad, why do you do it?
Because I have to.
Oh, man, you're going to outlive us all.
I intend to. By canes. Now, what's on your mind?
Elliot Carson collared me today.
About what?
Jack Chandler.
Who?
The man who just broke out of jail.
Weber, I have 2 more exercises for my legs.
Mr. Payne, what's the one thing in the whole world you'd like more than anything else?
Respite from you.
aside from that, how about Leslie Harrington's scalp?
Weber, I always rest 3 minutes between exercises. You have that amount of time to bore me.
You know, I didn't tell Carson this, but, well, after I saw Chandler.
Why do you keep babbling on about this Chandler?
Because he's the key to the whole thing. You see, he's got this thing for his niece, Rachel Wells. So he snatched her.
Oh, stop combing your hair and speak English.
Well, you see, he likes her, but not like a niece, more like a girlfriend. So he
abducted her.
Yeah, he abducted her, that's right. Only they caught him and then they threw him in jail.
2 minutes.
But he escaped. Somebody slipped him a gun.
Say it, Weber, say it.
Well, Chandler worked for Harrington. He tried to get Harrington to go his bail, but Harrington wouldn't do it. So he sent for me.
And you went?
I thought maybe he'd spill something that we could use.
Admirable.
And he did. He said that Leslie Harrington let him down.
How?
He didn't tell me that. He said that if Stephen defended him, he would, well, he promised to tell me something about Harrington.
And did Stephen agree to those terms?
Mm-mm.
So you're the only one who knows about this vague connection?
No, me and you.
Is that all?
Mr. Payne, if I was a guy that was sweating somebody blowing the whistle on me, I'd want to make sure that I got that guy out of the way. So I'd help him, maybe slip him a gun, and then if he made the break, great. And if he didn't, better still. You know, there's only one man in this town that wanted to see Jack Chandler sprung.
Time's up.
Well, like I said, I'd like to keep digging into this.
I'm sure you will. What made you think I'd be interested in this filthy little tale of yours?
Mr. Payton, if looks could kill, Leslie Harrington would have been laid out a long, long time ago, and vice versa.
One, two, three, four.
Oh, thanks, Betty. Smell. Couldn't resist picking it.
It's lovely.
I'm sorry I'm so late. I hope I haven't delayed dinner.
No, Stephen isn't home yet.
Oh, I'm afraid that's my fault. I needed some help with a silly legal problem, so I stopped by his office.
Will he be much longer?
No, I don't think so. I think he's right behind me. He was clearing up his desk when I left. Well, I'll just freshen up. Be down in a minute.
Don't rush. There's plenty of time.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
I think I deserve a better answer than that.
Testing me.
Testing you. You're attracted to her, aren't you?
I don't have to stand here and take any more of this. Are you implying that I had something to do with his escape?
Did you? I want to know about that gun.
Get out of here, Elliot. You make me sick. Get out.